I'm gonna just lay here in my bed until I die. Like, that's what's good, y'all? It's your girl Medusa. Okay, so boom, I just really want to talk about some things and get them off my chest, because what else is there to do? I don't know. I feel like a lot of people look at me and they see how positive and strong I am, and they think it's just because I've never been through nothing. And it's like, no, I'm literally this way because I've been through so much. We're here to talk about it. So on today's episode of Young Medusa's Trauma, we're gonna talk about my existential depression. Yeah, I'm gonna just start talking. So basically, ever since I was young, I was probably like 11, the first time I really realized that I was depressed, like something was wrong. Like, I remember sitting on my couch after school and like watching something, I don't know, and I just felt empty. Like, I just felt bad. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I just felt like, I don't know, like something was just not right. Like, I just felt empty. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but that's just how I felt. Like, I just felt like something was wrong. Like I was just like hollow inside, like, you know, like something was wrong. And I didn't know like how to shake it. Like, I was just sitting there like, and I was really trying to figure out, like, am I sad? Like, is something, like, did somebody say something to me that's just now hitting me or something? Like, I'm really sitting there like, why do I feel like this? You know, and I never understood it. There's always been this part of me that's always had this, like, this longing, you know, to just go back to where I came from. And I know that I came from the universe. I came from the cosmos. I came from the stars. I came from, you know, out there in space somewhere, like on another planet, on a star, on a, you know, a floating gas bubble or something. I don't know. Like, I'm not from Earth. I'm just not from Earth. And it's something I've always known. And it's something that really, I don't know, it just really made me depressed. I experienced my first like serious trauma at the age of 3, and I just never felt loved. Like, I never felt like safe. I never felt like I was in an environment where I could be myself. And you know, as I start putting out more of these stories, you'll start to understand why. But I don't know. I just never felt like one of y'all. And, you know, I never felt like a human. I never felt like I belonged anywhere. Like, even in my own family, like, I just felt like I didn't belong there. Like, I just wasn't the same as everyone else. Like, I wasn't the same as all the people I was meeting. I wasn't the same as my peers. I wasn't the same as the kids I was going to school with. I wasn't the same as anyone that I was meeting. And it was very lonely for me growing up. You know, I've always been a loner. I've never had a group of friends. I've never had a best friend. Like, I've never had, you know, people around me that could understand me. This is why I started YouTube, because I was like, I want to find people that are like me. I want to find people that understand me. And, like, you know, when I speak, they get it. You know, now that I'm older, I've let that go. Like, I don't really care if people understand me. Like, it's not my business. It's not my business if you like me or not. And I always felt like I had so much love to give and no one to give it to, because the people I was trying to give it to was just constantly pushing me away. And that's something that is, you know, that's a cycle that I'm ending, you know, been into debt. I just never wanted to be here. Like, I just never wanted to be here, man. Like, I just always hated living on Earth. Like, I always hated being a human. I've always, like, I just didn't like it. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I knew that I wasn't from here. I knew that I wasn't the same as everyone else. And I just knew that there was another world or another dimension or another place that I belong, that I want to go back to. You know, there's this card in tarot, it's called the Hierophant. Harith, I think. I'll put it on the screen, but it basically is a card that, you know, it kind of describes like my life a little bit, and just like the longing and like the homesick. That is the word. Like that is what I've been my whole life. And it took me, you know, a long time to like really understand like who I am and like what that really meant. You know, when I was 11, I didn't necessarily understand that I was just feeling homesick. I just knew I wanted to get out of here. I just feel like I've always had this like dark, you know, like gloomy thing about my personality, and it was just weird because I'm not really like that. Like I'm really outgoing and crazy and goofy, and I like to laugh, I like to joke, I like to run around and do crazy stuff, I like to climb trees. I don't know, naturally I'm a happy person. I entertain myself all day long. Like that's all I do. Like, and it's hella fun. Like I love being with myself, you know what I'm saying? It's like doom and gloom. Like, you know, I just had this dark cloud just like following me and just like telling me that I didn't belong and I wasn't supposed to be here, and something was wrong with me because I wasn't like everyone else and I wasn't into the things that everyone else was into. And, you know, and it's true. Like, you know, to some extent it is true. Like that's 100% true. At the time, it made me really depressed, and it made me like hate myself, and it made me just like not want to fucking be here. Like, cause like I didn't have a desire to change, you know, like I didn't have a desire to like conform to what everyone else was doing and try to force myself. Cause every time I would try to be human, it would backfire every single time. Every single time. Every single time. And trust me, I'm gonna be putting out some videos. There's gonna be a lot of stories about how me trying to be a human has completely blown up in my face. Like every time something bad happened, every time. Growing up, I never saw myself making it to 18. I just never saw it happening. Like I just felt like something was gonna happen to me, or I was going to do something to myself, and I was just not going to be here. I wasn't going to be living this life. I wasn't going to, you know, I just didn't see it because the pain I was feeling every day was just, oh my God, like waking up was like the worst part of my day, you know? And it sucks. Like it really sucks when, you know, you are feeling like that all the time, all day. And you just have this like pain in your chest and it won't go away, and you don't know what to do about it, and no one gets it. No one understands you. You can't talk to your family about it, because when I try to talk to my family about it, they'd be like, oh, what is you into be depressed? You know, like they just didn't understand that. And like being from the community that I'm from, like mental health is not really, like it's not, I don't want to say it's not taken seriously, but like it's not taken seriously. We either go to church and pray about it, or we go to the streets and drink Hennessy and smoke a blunt and get the fuck over it, right? But for me, neither one of those options was working for me. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like try to take myself out. And that's what I tried to do from age like 15 to 17. Like I attempted 4 times. I know this video is going to be demonetized because YouTube hates depressed people. Hey. So yeah, oh, there's a microphone right here. So, you know, if it pops up, it's just a mic. Yeah. If you get like a sound bite from me moving my hair, I'm really sorry. You know, I've always been attracted to the dark side. Like I've always been attracted to like, you know, scary movies. And like when I was like young, like super young, I used to like stay up and watch scary horror movies, like the most terrifying horror movies you could watch. As a kid, like I was watching those like as a kid. And like, you know, when you're a kid, they tell you not to watch those because you're gonna have nightmares and all that. I never had nightmares. ever. Before I was 6 years old, I'd already experienced the hell on earth that, you know, nothing scared me. Like, I just didn't care. So I was like, nah, I'm gonna watch this. And I would stay up with my older sisters. My sisters are 10 years and 4 years older than me. So when I was 6, my sister was a teenager, 16. So, you know, I would stay up with her and her friends and watch these scary, horrifying movies. And my other sister, who was like, 10, she would be too scared to watch them. But I was hanging, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been attracted to that. I've always been attracted to scary movies, you know, the villains in the movies. Like, I've always identified more with the villain in the movie, you know, like when I started dressing how I wanted to dress, like I was always dressing in black. One of my reasons for why I dress in all black is because, bitch, I'm mourning. I am mourning. I am literally mourning my 3-year-old self that was traumatized. I literally felt my soul, or at least a piece of it, leave my body at the age of 3 years old. Like, that's how deep my trauma goes. And I'm still getting over that. Like, I'm still healing from that. And I'm in my 20s. Like, imagine feeling that at 3 years old. Imagine learning how to dissociate from your own body at 3 years old. I've been in survival mode ever since I was 3 years old. That's what I've been doing. My entire personality has been a fucking trauma response. For me, I always knew that there was something else. I always knew that there was entities on this planet that are not human, that we cannot see. You know what I'm saying? And I always knew that I had to be one of them because I felt it. I literally felt my soul leave my body, bro. When people tell me they don't believe in ghosts, you're crazy. You're crazy for not believing in ghosts, bro. You are a ghost. You're literally a ghost right now. With learning how to dissociate that early, you know, the dissociation, it really saved my life a lot of times. A lot of times. If I would have been in my body when all these traumas were happening to me, I probably would, I don't know what would happen. I don't know what would happen. Ever since I was young, I had this desire to get out of here, because when I dissociate, it's like I can see another dimension where I'm safe. You know what I'm saying? And I'm loved and I'm protected. And I don't have that in this dimension. I don't feel that in this dimension. I don't feel safe on Earth. Look at me. I'm a queer Black woman. I'm not safe. Like, I'm not safe on this planet. There's nobody protecting me. When I was in my teenage years, you know, like 15, 16, 17, it was really a goal of mine to leave. I actually tried to, I don't want to give anyone no ideas or nothing. Yeah, no, I'm not going to talk about how I did it or anything. I'm just saying, like, that's what I did. Don't do that. Like, do not do that. I wanted to leave, but I didn't really. Like, something was still like holding me back, because like I still felt like I was this like love body. You know what I'm saying? Like I talked about in my last video, like I really feel like I'm like a love child of the universe. Like I really feel like I was sent here like as a gift to the world. Like I'm not trying to toot my own horn or nothing. That's just what it is. I have so much freaking love inside of me, and I need to get it out there. Like I need to give it to someone. I need to, you know what I'm saying? And I haven't had a chance to do that yet. And that's really the thing that, you know, was holding me back and was like, nah, it's not time yet, because you didn't do your job yet. You didn't spread this love, all this love that you have, all this pure love that you have within you. But at the same time, it was just making me more depressed, because it was like, damn, Like, I really don't want to be here. You know, like, I really don't like Earth. I really don't like being human. I don't like it. Like, I just don't like it. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I just don't like Earth. I don't like being a human being. I just don't. I don't feel connected to my human self, and I never have. Like, I've always felt like I was just like in this avatar body for now, and there's something better out there. There's a better world out there. There's a better dimension out there where everyone is just like me, and everyone understands me, and everyone, you know, and I don't have to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, people there are just like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how there's some people that, like, they go out and wherever they go, they make friends. I just never felt like I belonged here. The only time I was ever happy in school was when I lived in New York, and everyone there was like me, you know, like everyone was like super artistic and creative and like a little quirky, and like everyone was their own person. Like, everyone was different. Everyone was like, you know, I don't know. And people liked me because I was different. People liked me because of the way I dressed. People liked me because I was an artist. They liked me because, you know, I wasn't conforming to what everyone else was doing. And when I lived in Cleveland most of my life, like, it was the exact opposite. Like, everyone hated me. Everyone hated me. And I wasn't even doing anything. I was just existing. And people were just like fucking with me and like trying to bully me and like, you know, starting rumors about me and like it was just, that's gonna be another story time. You know, when I graduated high school, I moved back to Cleveland, unfortunately, and it was just more of the same. Like, it was just more of like everyone just not liking me. And like I don't really care if people like me, but it's like, stay away from me if you don't like me. Like, don't talk to me. Don't try to mess with me. Don't come over here. Like, why are you bothering me if you don't like me? Like, leave me alone. You know? And I just felt like overworking myself, perfectionism, and like throwing myself into whatever was right in front of me at the time was like a trauma response. So, you know, when I was in school, like, school was real important to me. Like, let me rephrase that. School was never important to me. I always knew that school was a load of crap. I always knew that we're just in here, they're institutionalizing us, they're just teaching us all this crap that we don't need to know, okay? They're teaching us all this stuff that we're never gonna use in the real world, okay? It's more like glorified daycare. I never saw school as like my ticket out. You know what I'm saying? Like, some really smart kids, they see it as like, oh, I'm gonna be a doctor and I'm gonna be a lawyer and I'm gonna like, that was they ticket out. You know what I'm saying? And I was a really smart kid, but I never saw school as my ticket out. I just never saw it for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always knew that I was gonna take a different path than, you know, the societal norm. I didn't want anything to do with corporate America. You know, I'd been asking my mom if I can get tattoos since I was like 13. Like, I always knew that I was going to be on a creative, like, artistic path. I was a straight A student, you know what I'm saying? AP student, but I could not care less about school. Like, I never studied, but I always aced my tests. I was like one of those kids. Like, I would wait until like the day before a paper was due and then like bust out 6 pages and get an A on it. And I did the work, but I never cared about it. When I got out of high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, because I knew that, you know, like, starving artists had always been like this thing in the back of my head. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be this, probably living on a beach somewhere, like trying to draw and like paint and do the sunset, whatever. I don't know. Like, I just had no desire to like pick a career, you know? Like, I just like, nah, I'm just gonna be myself. When I got out of high school, I immediately got like 3 jobs. Literally, like, I jumped right into like just working, because I'm like, let me just get my money up so that I can like have the freedom to decide what I'm gonna do. I would get like these restaurant jobs because, guys, it's low-hanging fruit. If you need a job, apply at any restaurant. They will hire you. You don't have to be qualified. You don't have to have anything. Trust me, I was a manager for 5 years in the back of restaurants. They will hire anyone, okay? And that's why I was applying to these jobs, because I'm like, I don't care. Like, I just want to do something easy to get money. Like, I don't care about like having qualifications and like, you know, experience and all that stupid. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm just gonna pick the easiest job and work it and save my money and whatever. I was still like doing my art thing, and like that was keeping me kind of centered, because I obviously hated these jobs. I would bounce around from these jobs. Like, I don't think I ever kept a job for like longer than a year before I started managing, because like I just couldn't. Like, it was just like, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't, like I don't care about this job. I don't care about these people. I don't care about any of this. Like, I don't care about moving up in your company. I don't care about any of that. Like, I'm gonna work this job until I feel like I don't want to work it anymore, and then I'm gonna leave and get another one. Like, I've always been a hard worker. Like, doing work has never been like, ew, no, like I'm just gonna do it. It's not a big deal. Like 18, 19, 20, I was, working multiple jobs, and I was also working as a face painter, like a fantasy face painter, like at my local zoo. And I was doing that like, but that was like only a summer job, and it was like kind of it went from like April to October until it started snowing, and then, then it was over. But doing that brought me a lot of happiness, and like kept me like grounded and centered, and like, okay, I'm doing something artistic, I'm doing something creative I actually loved. I would book all these parties, and I was making good money. I was like, okay, this is cool, I could rock with this. It was cool. Like, I was cool for a couple years, like after high school, I was just drifting through life. Again, I was like, I don't really want to be here anyway, so it doesn't really matter, right? I wasn't enjoying myself. I bought my first car, taught myself how to drive. That car ended up dying after like 3 months of having it. Bought another car, totaled it like a year later, 2 years later. Yeah, I got into a really bad accident, almost died. And I was working at like a print shop, like a printing company, and I hated that job. Like, I liked it because I was finally like not working around food, coming home not smelling like Chipotle or burgers, or where else did I work? Dunkin' Donuts. Coming home not smelling like food was like, I was living for it, But I still hated the job because it was way too corporate for me. Like, we was on like a point system, and it was just stupid to me. Like, it was just like, oh my God, I'm 6 minutes late. Like, you're gonna give me a point, and then if I get 3 points, I get a write-up, and then if I get 3 write-ups, I get fired. Like, it's so stupid. Like, it's so dumb. Like, it's just dumb. So naturally, after about a year, like, I started slacking off because I don't care about this job. I don't want to work here. Like, I don't care. And I just remember them like sitting me down in the office and like asking me like, oh, is this somewhere where you see yourself? Like, could you see yourself working here for 5 years? And I'm just like, bitch, I don't know what's gonna happen in 5 years. Bitch, I don't know what's gonna happen in the next 5 minutes, let alone the next 5 years. Like, I'm not selling my soul to this printing company. Like, I don't care about you guys. Like, I'm so sorry, but I do not care. I'm just trying to get a check. Not trying to be part of your corporate thing. Like, I really don't care about this. Like, I really don't care. Oh, naturally, they fired me. Earlier that year, like, on my way home from this job, I had totaled my car. Like, well, I guess I totaled it. Driving on an on-ramp, and it's like one of those, the on-ramp is called Dead Man's Curve. It's literally a circle, like, So I'm getting onto the freeway, and I don't know what the hell happened, but I lost control of my car, and I ended up like jumping over the median, and then I was driving into oncoming traffic on the highway. And then somehow, some way, dude, I'm still trying to figure out how this happened, because it was literally I don't know what happened, but like I literally think an angel like picked my car up and was like ended up swerving my whole car around, like complete 180, and I was literally perfectly parallel parked off to the side in the trees, like out of the way. You know what I'm saying? Like from the outside, my car looked completely fine. There was nothing wrong with it. But underneath, my oil thing was shot, my engine was shot, my everything was shot. Like everything was just done for. And I'd already like put like $1,500 into the car trying to get it fixed, and they're like, oh, sorry, your engine is, sorry. And I'm just like, okay, thanks for telling me that. I could have bought a new car. You know, I think I still had like a year left of like payments on it. And so when I got fired from this job, I was just like, okay, I don't really want to get another job because I don't care about this. Like, I truly do not care about this human life. Okay, I don't have a car now. My credit is in the trash because I maxed out my credit card trying to fix my car that I don't even have now. I just felt like I had no reason to try. Like I just didn't care. But I wasn't attempting anything because my mom, like, and that's honestly the reason that I stuck it out so long, is because my mom, like, it would just break my mom's heart. Like, it would break her heart. For me, I just always knew that society was fake. You know, I just always knew that it was a rat race. I always knew that it was a trap. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you tell a bunch of kids, okay, because when you're 18, 19, 20, you are a kid, you're a child. Don't know nothing about life. You've been in school since you was 5 years old, okay? Everything you know about life, you learned at school. Talking about societal life, like bills, taxes, all that thing. So I just always thought it was a trap. I always thought it was a trick, you know, to get people into this, like, cog and machine type of life. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, people tell you that you're useless if you're not a functioning part of society. You know, you got to be a doctor, you got to be a lawyer, you got to be a nurse, you got to be a teacher, you got to be, you know, useful or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Why would you tell kids to take out all this money that they don't have and never had, to go to school and get an education, to get a job so that they can pay back their student loans for the next 50 years? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I was never interested in going to college, like, even though I was literally an AP student, like graduated with 3.9, like, and the only reason I graduated 3.9 is because I purposely took myself out of the AP classes, because I was like, dude, I don't care. Like, I'm not out here trying and stuff. Like, the only AP classes I kept my senior year was AP trigonometry and AP statistics, because I love math. Okay, like, math was my jam. Like, I don't know why. I've always been good at math. I've always been good at numbers. Like, I don't know. I liked math. Math was fun. Everything else, I was just like, nah, put me in a regular class. Like, I don't care. This was around the time when I was like finding myself. You know, I had finally come out, you know, that year, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, because I knew I never wanted to be part of this society. I just knew I didn't want to be a part of the rat race. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't want to be here. I didn't want to get a job. Like, I didn't, and I still don't. Like, I don't want to work. You know, like, there's nothing that I can think of that, you know, I'm never gonna be excited to get up and go work for somebody else. Like, I'm just never gonna be happy doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I just didn't. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just lay here in my bed until I die. Like, that's I know that sounds crazy, but that is literally what went through my head at the time. I was just like, let me just lay here and just let my life waste away. So yeah, like 2015 and the better part of 2016, that's what I did. Like for a whole year, I didn't do anything. I ate food. I ate terrible food, like pizza rolls and ice cream, and I ordered a lot of Domino's, like the cheesy bread. Like I watched pretty much every episode of Bad Girls Club. I'd stopped smoking weed, but I'd picked up drinking. Yeah, I was like 22 at this time, and like I had never drank before this. So this was like my first time drinking, and I started on vodka. I started on the hard stuff. It went from buying those little $5 fifths and having that last me a week to drinking a third of the bottle every day, to drinking a half of the bottle every day, to drinking the whole fifth every day, to me buying the 2-liter and busting it down by myself. Like I would literally put vodka in everything. I would make milkshakes and put vodka in it, like, and then go up to my room and watch Bad Girls Club. Like that was my life for a really long time. It was disgusting. It got so bad to where it was the middle of winter, y'all. The middle of winter. And I walked to the supermarket that was like probably like a mile away. I walked there in the snow. I was living in Cleveland at the time, on the lake, okay? So you knew we get that lake effect snow, okay? It's not as bad as New York, but it's like, it's not cute in the wintertime. You know what I'm saying? All types of snow. Snow is probably like up my calf. I'm walking, bro, to the supermarket, and I came home with two 2 liters of vodka and 1 2-liter of gin. And I'm tiny, like I'm little, and I got this giant winter coat on, snow all the way up my leg, and I'm lugging these giant bottles of alcohol back to my house to go lay in bed and do nothing. And then when I couldn't afford vodka anymore, I just started buying the little $1 like Ice House little freaking piss water, the most watered down beer you ever had. But those get you messed up, I ain't gonna cap. And that's what I did. That's what I did for a whole year. A whole year, bruh. I stayed in my house. I stayed in my room. I got drunk. I would go on YouNow every now and then, you know, trying to like connect with anybody. I hated myself. Like, that's really the only explanation, because it's like, I just didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to do life. You know, I didn't see, you know, the possibilities outside of the trap, outside of the rat race, outside of this matrix that I do not want to be a part of. I've always kind of known about my spirituality. I just wasn't awakened yet. You know what I'm saying? It's like I've always known about these different dimensions and these different entities and like different worlds and things like that. But I never thought that I could go there without dying first. Like I always thought that I had to like shed this physical body before I could go on and try again and be happy. You know, because I know that I just never felt like me being happy in this world was possible. And towards the end of this, you know, this year of depression that I was going through, I had met my ex-girlfriend like online, and you know, she was cool. I'm not gonna say it reminded me who I was, but like it kind of did, because she was also very spiritual, and she kind of like helped me remember who the fuck I was. You know what I'm saying? And we used to meditate together and things like that, and it was, you know, it kind of helped me come back a little bit, because I was gone. Your girl was lost. Everyone used to think I was weird when I started talking about stars and, you know, meditation and all that stuff. And like, she was like all about it, you know? And I was like, yeah, dude. At the end of the day, like, that's what we're all in each other's lives to do, is to help each other come back home, you know? Just because, you know, someone helps you get back on your path or whatever it is, it doesn't mean that that person is supposed to be in your life forever, because that relationship did turn toxic, you know, after a while. So that's when I was like, yeah, I gotta just cut it off. When we were dating, I was working this job, and they were doing all this type of reconstruction and whatnot, and they had like basically put us out of work for like literally, I want to say like it was like 2 months, and they kept pushing it back too. Like every time they're like, okay, so we're gonna get back to work at this day, then they would email us the day before and be like, so can't do it till this day. Like they kept pushing it back, and I was like, bruh, I don't want to work these jobs anyway, and like y'all doing this is like really just making me not want to do shit. So yeah, after a while, my mom was just like, yo, you gotta go to therapy, dude. Like, you're depressed. You are depressed. Like, this is depression. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. And like therapy, you know, it was never nothing new to me. Like I'm not gonna say I always went to therapy, but I started going to therapy when I was real young. Probably like, I wanna say like 13, like 14. Because I always been like this. I always been a sad ass bitch, and no one could understand why no one understood me. And so, you know, my mom put me in therapy when I was real young. When I was in high school, I was in all types of programs for mental health, and you know, I would get pulled out of my classes at school, and like you have to go talk to somebody, and like it was like therapy was nothing new to me, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, you know, let's go to therapy. Therapy works, y'all. It helps. Like, well, let me not say that. Therapy works as long as you are doing the work. Like if you just think that you're just gonna go therapy, talk to someone for an hour, and your whole life's gonna change, it's not. Like you have to like do stuff. You know, you have to like apply the things that they tell you to your actual life, and then you will see improvements as long as you want to do it. Like you have to put the work in. My confidence, my self-esteem is coming back a little bit, and I started working this job. And again, low-hanging fruit. I just got this like kitchen job, didn't care, just needed a job. I remember this specifically because it was probably my second day at that job, like literally, like I just started working the job, and I was talking to my ex-girlfriend, and it was just toxic. Like it had ran its course. You know what I'm saying? And like you just got to know when it's time to leave a relationship. And you know, at the time, this was like my first relationship, so like I didn't know, like I didn't want to hurt her feelings, but I also was like trying to get away from her because it was just not working no more, you know, and it was making me miserable. And I was like, oh, I don't want to be miserable before I go into this job that I really need and get fired because I'm, you know, a sad ass bitch. So yeah, I ended up ghosting her. Like I felt bad about it, but at the same time I didn't. At the time, you know, I felt like it was necessary to do, but you know, looking back on it, you know, I felt bad about it. But if I ghost it, look, anyone that I ghosted after that, I don't feel bad about it. You deserved it. Yeah. This was like towards the end of 2016. And like I had always had that like calling in me to like stop eating meat. Like I remember telling one of my friends this like a long time ago, like I think I'm gonna quit meat. And then my girlfriend at the time, she was pescatarian, and she was like talking about how like great it was. You really do meet the people that you're supposed to meet at the time, you know? Like meeting her kind of like really like sparked something in me, and was just like, okay, this is where you're supposed to be going. Like you're supposed to be going down this more spiritual path, not eating meat. Like you're supposed to be, there's certain things you're supposed to be doing. So that is around the time that I went vegetarian, and y'all, I was thriving. Okay, I was thriving. I was working this job, I was good at it, you know, everyone liked me, it was cool. The money wasn't terrible, you know. I was not eating meat, so I was feeling a lot better, like not only physically, but up here, spiritually. Like I was just feeling so much better. It was like night and freaking day. There was still something in me that was just like, what else? Like, you know, like, cause this can't be it.
Belong on an IMAX screen. Every day is Halloween.